Hey guys, in this video I'm going to be showing you how to turn a regular USB like this one into a bootable USB. Right, so this is the second time I'm actually recording this video because I just finished editing the video and it was exporting and it got to like 95% done on the exporting. I think that's what you call it. And then it just crashed, my software crashed, which was a bit of a shame. So I'm not going to put as many edits in this video. So it may be a bit more, I guess, behind the scenes sort of way of doing a video. Anyway, doesn't matter. I'll show you how to do it right now.
Right guys, we're on Ventoy.net, which is the website you need to go to be able to download everything. Now don't worry, you don't have to copy out the URL or anything. I'm going to link it in the description below. So all you have to do is click on the link. Right, so first thing we need to do is we need to go to downloads. So now that we're in downloads, you can, well, because I've got Windows, I'm going to be doing the Windows version, but you can always do the Linux or the Mac version, which is just below it. Right, so it's sent us to the GitHub page, and the latest release is 1.0.45 or 45, depending on how you want to say it. And all you have to do is scroll down and go to this, where you can just download it, and all you do is click on it in the downloads. Now, because Ventoy is open source and is free software, well, it's free monetarily, but it's also Libre software, meaning you can see all the source code, which is great. You can download it for Windows and Linux right here if you wish, but that's not part of the tutorial. Anyway, so now what we do is we open this, and what we do is we have to go back to downloads, right, so once you're in downloads, all you have to do is you click on here. No, you don't. So all you have to do is right click here, and you click extract all, browse. Once you're in browse, all you have to do is you go to this tutorial folder which I've made. Obviously you can do it in any folder that you wish, but I've just done a folder specifically for this video so that it's easier to follow along. So you just click select folder and then you click extract. Right, so it's just extracting now, and while it's extracting, oh well, it's going much quicker than I thought, but while it's extracting, all I wanted to say is, a lot of people say, oh, why don't you use Rufus, because Rufus is another tool that you can use to make a USB stick into a bootable USB stick. And to them I would say, well, I've tried using Rufus, I've used it multiple times, and whenever I've tried to use it, it's never worked exactly how I wanted it to. So, and someone recommended me to use Ventoy despite it not being as well known. Well, it's still very well known, but it's not as commonly used as Rufus. And Ventoy worked the first time, everything works. I have no complaints with it. Anyway, so once you've done that, and it's extracted, all you go is you click on Ventoy, then you do Ventoy to disk. Now, with Ventoy to disk, if you click on it, my video recording software won't actually be able to record this bit, so I'll stick in a screenshot of what it would look like. Well, I say it's a screenshot, it's not actually a screenshot, it's just a picture I took with my phone of the screen, which some people may not like, and it's understandable, but I guess we'll just have to make do. So you click on this, and before, oh, it's just loading. Right, so yeah, here we go. So Windows, because this isn't an officially supported software, which to be honest doesn't really make much difference, but anyway, Windows is trying to protect your computer, and I say protect your computer, it doesn't actually, it just doesn't want you to have any non-proprietary software on your device, because obviously it damages their profits. Anyway, so you look at this and you go, oh, well, I can't run it, can I? Well, if you do more info, what they've done is they've hid it under here. So if you just click run anyway, right, so now once you've done that, and you get this, which is brilliant. So this is the time where you'll then put in your USB stick into the computer. So we're going to now cut to me putting my USB stick into the computer. However, this will be from an earlier time, but it works logistically just the same.
Right guys, so now you need to plug in your USB stick to your computer. All you need to do is you get your USB stick here and then you plug it into an available USB port. As you can hear and you can see right here that the USB has now been accepted. All you need to do now is just follow along with the video and we'll go back to the computer screen.
Now, just a quick note, uh, sometimes when you just plug in your USB stick while you have Ventoy open, it may not recognize it. So what I recommend doing is once you've plugged in your USB stick, um, what you need to do is you need to close Ventoy and then reopen it again, and it'll give you the same warning, and all you have to do is the same thing where you just click yes. Right, so it should pick it up automatically, but if you do have multiple USB devices, it may pick up the wrong one. But if that's the case, it's not a problem, because all you have to do is click the drop down and you'll have all the USB devices that you have. But luckily I only have one USB device on my computer, so it went straight automatically to this. Now, this USB device already has Ventoy installed, but say if it didn't, all you do is you click install, which is quite self-explanatory, and all it does is it goes through the status bar, and then once it's reached the end it clicks install. Now, I've actually already updated to the latest version on my USB stick, which I did earlier, but as I said, unfortunately the majority of that footage is unrecoverable, so I can't recover it, so you can't really see it properly. But if I click update, all it will do, so you click yes, which it will probably give you the same prompt for if you do install, and then it will just do this, which is the same sort of thing it would do if you'd clicked install. It will just give you slightly different messages, and here we go. It says congratulations, Ventoy has successfully become updated to your device. If it was installing, it would say something like congratulations, Ventoy is successfully installed on your device. It would probably say something very similar. Right, so once you've done that, you just close it and then you go on Ventoy. Now, importantly, you need to know that you have to have some sort of ISO file on your Ventoy USB stick, which is your bootable USB stick. And it's really easy to do so. All you have to do is you have to drag it and drop it onto the USB stick as you would copy any other file to any other storage place. There's no special fiddling about in the menu or anything, which is what I like about Ventoy. While with Rufus, which is the other competitor, I guess you would call it, you have to do quite a lot of things in order for it to work. So Ventoy is a lot more simple. Also, I know this isn't particularly with the tutorial, but I'm going to say it anyway. With Ventoy, you can boot multiple ISOs on one USB device, which, as you can see, I've got 4 ISOs for Artix Linux. Now, you don't have to do Artix Linux. You can do any operating system. You could do Linux Mint. You could do Debian. You could do any sort of device, any sort of operating system you wanted for any sort of device. Right. Now that you've got it all sorted, all you need to do is actually boot it into the computer that you want to boot. So all you have to do is just keep watching the video and I'll show you how to do it.
Right, so now that you've got your bootable USB stick and it's all sorted, all you have to do is ensure that your device doesn't have any power connected to it, isn't plugged in or anything, and isn't on hold or in sleep mode or hibernating or anything like that, or else it won't work. Because what you have to do is you have to boot directly off the USB stick, meaning that instead of going through the normal boot cycle, it will then go into Ventoy, and Ventoy will take over and allow you to boot one of the ISOs, or the only ISO, depending on how many ISOs you've installed on your device. So, if you just let me sit down a second, if we just come around here, you can see that all you have to do is you have to plug in the USB stick, and I'm not doing a great job. There we go. Right, so now just open the computer, and you open the computer and then you need to turn it on. And I've just realised I haven't plugged it in at the wall, so if you give me a second, I'll just plug it in at the wall. Right, so now that it's plugged in at the wall, we can now turn it on. So importantly, even though this isn't directly to do with the tutorial, the only reason you'd actually want a bootable USB stick is so that you would be able to boot off it and install new operating systems. So crucially, I always recommend that you have some sort of internet connection, and I do recommend you use Ethernet, which I've got here, because sometimes, especially with Artix, I've found, but I'm assuming this is for all Arch-based Linux distributions, or maybe all Linux distributions as a whole. I'm not fully sure because I haven't done anything other than Artix, and I tried Debian earlier. but with Debian it didn't give me the same prompt. Anyway, the point that I'm trying to make is that you need to have preferably Ethernet, because if you're relying off Wi-Fi, you'll have to do quite a lot of setup in order for it to work, which can be a bit difficult for new users. However, if you're a veteran, then I'm sure it'll be fine. But then if you are a veteran, I'm not sure why you're watching this video, because you would have done it before. Anyway, all you need to do is use the up and down arrow keys to go between your different ISOs, and say I want to install, I don't know, the Mate Run It version of Linux. All I do is I click enter, and there we go, it's booting. Now this is different for each device. This is only really what it looks like for Artix Linux, but yeah, it works really well, and you have the same sort of controls for Artix Linux as well. Now obviously I'm not going to actually boot it, because obviously I've already got it installed and I don't want to have to reinstall it. But crucially, although this is a bit misleading, as you can see here, it will go, oh, do you want to do it from the stick? Now what's this stick you're talking about? Does it mean the USB stick? No, it doesn't actually. It's doing it straight from the hard drive, which isn't what you want at all, because otherwise, why would you want a bootable USB stick if it's just doing it from the hard drive? So what you want to do, and this will look different for different distributions, but there will be some sort of option where it will go from CD, DVD, or ISO. So even though this is from a USB stick, the software is .iso, so that's where you get ISO from. So you'd want to click enter here. Of course I'm not going to do that, because like I've said earlier, I've already installed Artix Linux, so I don't want to have to reinstall it, because then I'd have to reconfigure it. Anyway, that's basically the whole video. I apologise if it's a bit more behind the scenes, or less edited than you would expect. However, my first video, which I'd recorded for this, was edited, and it was edited quite heavily, and it had like lots of really nice transitions, but unfortunately I was using OpenShot, I believe it was my editing software, and just as I was exporting it, I believe it was on 95-96%, for some reason it just completely crashed and froze, and I lost all my progress, which was a shame really. But obviously this is somewhat my fault, and I wouldn't blame OpenShot, because of course I should have expected that maybe it could have crashed. Rather, all I did was I just spent 4 or 5 hours editing this video, and I didn't bother saving it at any point, which, I take, like 95% responsibility, for this. Anyway, despite all that, I've finished making this video in under 20 minutes, which is quite nice. I'm probably only going to spend like 10 minutes editing this, so if it's a bit choppy, then I apologise. But, that doesn't really matter. If you watch this far, then thank you very much for watching. And please suggest any video ideas that you want for future videos. Like, subscribe, comment,